AITA for sterilizing myself against my partner's wishes. I, 28F, have been married to my husband, 28M, for 8 years now, and we have 2 beautiful children together. Over the years, we've had some discussions about family planning, and reproductive responsibility has always fallen on me. I've tried every form of birth control, pills, the IUD, the implant, patches, injections, you name it. But no matter what, none of them ever felt completely right. I've had side effects ranging from mood swings to weight gain, and I always felt like I was dealing with something that wasn't 100% my choice. It's always been about preventing a pregnancy and never about me truly feeling in control of my body. A few months ago, my husband and I were having one of our usual discussions about the future. Our children are at a good age now, and we both agree that we are done having kids. We have a boy and a girl, and the thought of a 3rd child doesn't feel like something we want to add to our lives. Our family feels complete. So, in the middle of this discussion, I thought this is the perfect time to bring up sterilization. It wasn't an easy decision. I had always felt like the responsibility of contraception was on me, and I was done with it. We had always used birth control to prevent another pregnancy or to plan one. And now that we were both in agreement that we didn't want more children, I thought it would make sense to take permanent action. I had talked to my gynecologist about getting a salpingectomy, fallopian tube removal, since I didn't want to rely on birth control anymore. The side effects of the birth control methods I'd been using were starting to get too much to bear, and I wanted to be done with it. I thought, we both agree, we don't want more children. I can do this, and we'll never have to worry about unplanned pregnancies again. I never imagined that my decision would cause such a blowout in our relationship. The conversation started innocuously enough. We were sitting on the couch, the kids were finally in bed, and we had a rare moment of quiet. I had been mentally preparing for this talk for a while, but when the moment came, I could feel the nerves in my chest. It wasn't just about discussing a sterilization procedure. It was about having my voice heard when it came to my body. I had carried 2 children. I had gone through the physical and emotional roller coaster of motherhood. I thought my husband would understand how exhausted I was from dealing with birth control and how this was a decision I wanted to make for myself. But as soon as I brought it up, his reaction hit me like a tidal wave. I took a deep breath and said, "Hey, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I feel like I'm ready to make a permanent decision. I'm considering getting a salpingectomy, since we both agreed we're done having kids. I don't want to deal with birth control anymore." His face froze. I couldn't tell if he was processing my words or just trying to come up with a response. It was a long silence. For a moment, I thought he might be hesitant, unsure about the idea, but that was far from the truth. He suddenly said, "I'm not okay with that." I was taken aback. "What do you mean? We agreed. We're done having kids." "I know, but I just don't think you should do that. It's permanent, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with you going through something so drastic." I was confused and a little hurt. We had been on the same page about not having more children. This was supposed to be a logical next step. Why was he suddenly so against it? I tried to reason with him, explaining how much birth control had taken a toll on my body over the years. I've been on so many forms of birth control, and none of them feel right. I don't want to keep relying on something that messes with my body. This would be a permanent solution. His tone became firmer. "No, I forbid it. I won't allow it. You can't just go and do something irreversible like that." I was stunned. "But this is my body. We've both agreed we don't want more children. I'm asking for a permanent solution to something I've been struggling with for years." He shook his head, clearly getting agitated. "I just don't think it's a good idea. It's too much, and I don't want you to do something you might regret later." I felt a mix of anger and hurt boiling up inside me. This wasn't just about sterilization. It was about my agency over my own body. I couldn't understand why he couldn't see that this decision wasn't just about avoiding future pregnancies. It was about me taking control over my health and well-being. At this point, I could feel myself getting emotional. My heart was racing. I had expected maybe some hesitation, some concerns, but not outright refusal. I had always been the one to bear the burden of birth control, from tracking cycles to dealing with side effects. Why couldn't I just take this one step for myself? Why are you making this so hard? I don't want to keep dealing with birth control. It doesn't feel right for me. I just want to move forward and feel at peace with this decision," I said, my voice cracking. He raised his voice a little. "Because it's permanent. You can't undo it, and I don't think it's something you should just rush into. I don't want you to hurt yourself." I felt like I was suffocating. The more he spoke, the more trapped I felt. I was being treated like a child who didn't understand the consequences of my own actions. I had done my research. I knew what the procedure entailed. I wasn't asking for a risky surgery. I was simply asking to be free from the constant burden of birth control. I stood up from the couch, my emotions a whirlwind. "I don't need you to approve of this. This is my body, my decision. I can't keep living like this. I've had enough." I walked away from the conversation, needing to clear my head. I grabbed my keys and went to pick up our kids from school. But on the drive there, I couldn't stop thinking about everything he had said. His words were still echoing in my mind, and I felt betrayed. My body, my health, Why was he making me feel like I had no say in it? I knew I couldn't just let this go. I couldn't stay in this limbo. I wanted to make sure I was taking control of my life, and that meant making decisions for myself, even if it meant going against my husband's wishes. So I did what I had to do. I called my gynecologist on the way to the school and scheduled a consultation for the salpingectomy. I was sure I didn't need my husband's approval for this, and I wasn't going to let his refusal stop me from taking control of my body. When I got home, things were still tense. He hadn't let up on his opposition. We didn't speak much that evening. I could feel the divide growing between us, but deep down, I knew I was doing what was right for me. The emotional weight of the situation was heavy, and part of me kept wondering if I was being selfish. Was I being unfair to him? Was I disregarding his feelings? But in the end, I had to prioritize myself. I'm still struggling with the aftermath of all of this. I'm about to go through with a decision that will permanently change my body, and I'm doing it despite my partner's objections. I never imagined it would come to this, feeling like I was being forced into a corner, not being allowed to make a choice for myself. But here I am, on the verge of making this decision, and I just want to know if I'm the age for going ahead with it.